Welcome back. Okay, so let's have a little news of the day and a little bit about the trade deadline as well today. So, Carey Price, he's not traveling with the team to Toronto. They just have the one game and then they go back home. They're saying he's getting treatments. I'm assuming that they've decided, you know what, Falcon and Winter Soldier have it right, and they've got some kind of a superhero serum. Sure, that's what'll happen. Carey Price will come back and he'll be all beefed up like Captain America, and there you go. Stanley Cup win for Montreal. That's my prediction. How's yours doing? So yeah, Primo's been recalled for just the one game. So Allen will start the game, and Primo will be the backup. Of course, Primo will likely be the backup for Montreal next season. And yeah, while we're at it, Montreal news: Brennan Gallagher, fractured thumb. He's gonna be out for weeks. So again, and Gallagher just looked like he got hurt the game before and then came back in, and it's just that's how things work for Brennan Gallagher. The game that he plays, and it comes down to shot blocking and the physical game and everything else. He ends up getting a lot of injuries. So hopefully it's not that long for Gallagher. Zach Burke has been named the goaltending coach for the Ottawa Senators. And it's interesting because he's Sebastian Bach's brother. So now from Skid Row, I have 18 and life stuck in my head. So there you go. But it feels like it's odd timing. So Hogberg is back. Hogberg joins the team today. Gustafson's been sent to the AHL. And Pierre Dorian basically saying that the goaltending hasn't been good enough, so you take the old goaltending coach and you reassign him. That's got to feel great to get replaced at your job and demoted, but you're still employed by him. It's got to be kind of awkward. Here's the new guy who took your job. But yeah, so, I mean, Zach has a good reputation in the NHL community, and I'm sure he'll be up for the job, but I don't know that goaltending's been a problem for Ottawa outside of Hogberg and Matt Murray. Gustafson was playing very well. Forsberg came in. Forsberg's been pretty good. Now, I understand Forsberg, that wouldn't be a reflection on the coaching of Ottawa because he hadn't been there that long. But, yeah, it's weird to me that they do it now. So the timing to me feels really odd. Unless this is a Matt Murray's coming back, we need a new voice in his ear kind of thing. And as has been pointed out by Pittsburgh fans, that happened in Pittsburgh as well, where Matt Murray's goaltending coach got replaced. So, yeah, it's odd timing. It really is. Because, again, I don't think goaltending's been the problem for Ottawa for at least the last month, which is right around where Hogberg and Murray were both out. So, I don't know. We'll see how things go from here. Ottawa's always interesting. And they've been way too quiet all season. So now that we're getting up to the trade deadline and beyond, odds are they'll start getting noisy again. So yeah, maybe that's the start of it. Taylor Hall will not be playing tonight. Don Granato confirmed that this morning. He's out of the lineup, so get your trade proposals in. I don't know. There's going to be interest in Taylor Hall. I honestly, this year in Buffalo, I have not seen very many games from Taylor Hall that convince me that he's going to be a big difference maker for a team picking him up at the deadline, and maybe he turns it around. But he never really turned it around in Arizona last year. His season in New Jersey was considered to be a little bit disappointing before he was traded to Arizona, and then yeah, it's just he's been in this funk for a couple years now, and I don't know, maybe the right team gets him out of it. But where does he go? And again, I keep hearing Islanders, and I keep thinking that'd be the most un-Lou Lamoriello thing to bring in Taylor Hall that I can imagine. I'm not saying he won't. It doesn't feel like a Lou Lamoriello move. I would think Lou Lamoriello would be more likely to bring in a player who can just fill in as a top six, probably a cheaper player, somebody that he might have, plans to keep around. It just feels like it's a pure rental with Hall, and I'm not sure that the Islanders go for that. But we'll see, right? It's going to be interesting. Drew Doughty last night. So after LA loses, he's frustrated. Drew Doughty doesn't like to lose. And I know very few players accept losing well, but he's getting very vocal about it. And it's understandable. He didn't sign that long-term extension to stay in LA to go through what they're going through right now. Much like, very similar to what Erik Karlsson has said. And this is my Karlsson jersey here. Very similar to what Erik Karlsson said about San Jose. He didn't go to San Jose to be part of a rebuild. I don't think Doughty signs that contract to be with a team that, I mean, last night's game, they take too many penalties. There was some iffy moves made overall. I don't know. I get why Doughty's frustrated, and at the same time, Doughty shouldn't be too surprised that the Kings find themselves as far out of the playoffs as they are right now, because coming into this season, there wasn't a lot of expectation when it came to the Kings, and the fact that guys like Turcotte and Byfield and others aren't in their lineup yet shows you that the Kings aren't icing their best players, best young players at least at this stage. So yeah, we'll see how things go for the Kings, but Doughty being frustrated, totally understandable. I'd be more concerned about somebody who's in good spirits after a loss like that and seeing their team near the bottom of the standings and joking around and chuckling about everything. And hey, you got to laugh about it, because you don't. Not during the season, you don't. Andrei Vasilevsky'd like to have a word with you if you want to laugh about losing. So, the trade deadline is Monday, April 12th. It is at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific. I am not doing trade speculation videos. They age like bad cheese, and I'm not going to do them. I will talk about players who may get traded, but odds are it's probably going to be a quiet trade deadline. Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean there won't be trades, because there have been people before you, there were a bunch of trades. Yeah, but how many of them were impactful? When I talk about a quiet trade deadline, I mean not a lot of impactful trades. You go, wow, this team really changed things at the deadline. So, when it's a third rounder and a second tier prospect for a decent prospect, or you've got this fourth liner for that fourth liner, and then they go, see, look, that's busy. No, I think it's going to be relatively quiet. You've got the border, the Canadian border, 7-day quarantine. You've got about half the league sitting right up against the cap. Even though they've been messing around with the cap to try to get themselves extra space, there's very little space there. So when we're looking at which teams are definitely going to be sellers, I think a good stat right now is if a team is 8 points or further out of the playoffs, you're just denying reality if you're not admitting you're a seller. The Canucks are there. Of course, it's complicated with the Canucks. We're now up to 17 players that have tested positive. There's 3 on the taxi squad as well, or 2 on the taxi squad and three staff members as well, who have either tested positive or in the taxi squad case they're considered close contacts. I can't see any of the Canucks being traded. I really can't see it, because if I'm a team and I'm looking at this situation, I'm not going to say, hey, well, he's on the protocol list and he's got it, so we'll get him. You don't know what you're getting. So I think the Canucks are dead quiet at the deadline. I don't think anything's going to happen with the Canucks. There might be some minor moves, but nothing major. I don't think Pearson goes anywhere. Calgary, we'll see. Brad Treliving has been pretty vocal about not being happy with the way this season's gone, and he shouldn't be. If you're looking at things from an expanded perspective, Johnny Gaudreau's a UFA next summer. So if they're going to consider making that move, this offseason coming up is probably where that's going to happen. You have to make up your mind. Is Johnny Gaudreau the long-term face of this franchise, or do you want to make a big move and look at maybe trading Johnny Hockey? The Ottawa Senators, this team here, they're well out of the playoffs. They've been making moves looking to the future for a while. They've got a lot of prospects coming in. They're going to be sellers at the deadline. New Jersey and Buffalo, we already know, like, Hall's out of the lineup. Palmieri was held out of the lineup for the Devils in their last game. Likely will be tonight, too. I haven't seen that he is, but it's very likely he will be. So both of them are definitely in sell mode. Detroit, we knew coming into this season they'd be in sell mode at the deadline. And then 2 California teams, Anaheim and LA. Conspicuous by their absence is San Jose. San Jose is not 8 points or further out of the playoffs. But what is also interesting is, so of the teams that didn't make it to the play-in round last year, Ottawa, New Jersey, Buffalo, Detroit, LA, San Jose are all on the board as being 8 or more points out of the playoffs. The only team that missed the play-in round last year that is not on the board is San Jose, showing just how difficult it is to turn things around. And, like when I compare one season to the next, and I've seen the comment, if you can't compare one year to the other, you can, though, because of stuff like this, where you do see the same teams going through these rebuilds, and it takes a while. And in the case of Buffalo, of course, they're well beyond that. Now, by my count, there's 13 teams right now in the NHL that are on 100-point pace if we were to have an 82-game season. And so there's a lot of fan bases out there that believe that their team is a contender right now, which is great. It's great for ratings for the NHL. It's great for playoff interest and intrigue. 13 teams on pace for 100 points. So, all right, I'll take a look at it. 2018-2019, which was the last year we had 82 games, there were 7 teams that had 100 points. So that's almost double that total. There were 11 in 2017-2018, so that's close. 2016-2017, there were 9. 2015-2016, there were 10. And one thing that I've begrudged for a long time is it's too easy to get to 100 points now. It used to be this major accomplishment for a team to reach 100 points. There were times in the NHL where you might get one team that did 100 points all year. Now it feels like 110 to 115 is the accomplishment side of it. 9 teams currently reside below 500, which in a 31-team league, it still feels like that's kind of low. But 2019-2020, the shortened season, 7 teams finished below 500. 2018-2019, there were also 9 teams. 2017-2018, there were 10. So that's teams that have lost more in regulation than they've won. So it's taking that overtime loss and shootout loss and pulling that out, and it's points percentage of below 500. So there are definitely some teams with gaudy records right now, and we'll see which ones end up being, huge breakthroughs in the playoffs and which ones end up being disappointing in the playoffs. Because again, if there's 13 teams on a 100-point pace, that means a minimum of 5 of them are out in the first round. So the playoffs could be very surprising and pretty good this year. This could be a really good year of playoffs, especially considering how well acquainted these teams are with each other that they're going to meet in the first 2 rounds. So looking forward to that. Of course, we got to get through the trade deadline first. So yeah, those are clear-cut teams that are probably going to be selling. There are others that are 5 or 6 points out that are right on that borderline. And we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.